Since the early 60s, local motorsport fans always had their love for the touring cars. And with an all-time high interest in touring cars in the late 90s and early 2000s, viewership began rising and touring car series suddenly had to prove themselves on the world stage. And with the amount of interest in these cars and motorsport in general at the time, many countries wanted to have their own touring car series. This is why a variety of touring car series began to emerge like BTCC, WTCC, STCC, and the list goes on. Today we are looking at some mods which represent these classic touring cars, but we will also take a look at some newer additions. Before we start though, I want to thank each and every one of you that subscribe to my channel, because we are now officially past the 100 sub milestone. Hey guys, and welcome back on my channel. Today we will take a look on my top 5 touring car mods for AC, so without further ado, let's start with number 5. This classic BMW model raced in the Swedish Touring Car Championship, hence its name STCC. To further top this, the 320i, together with its successor the 320si, were the dominators of the STCC because they won the championship 9 times. This particular version is the E46 from the late 2000s, but I'm not 100% sure on this, so if anybody of you guys watching knows that this is a different BMW model, then please text me in the comments down below. Anyways, the mod itself drives rather okay, but it could definitely be better. I think my main problem is that this car sometimes wants to spin pretty unpredictable, which isn't all that nice to handle. Still, I think the modder did a reasonably well job on this car, and it is definitely a ton of fun throwing it around Knutstorp. So with that said, give it a try via the link in the description below. Now, I know that this isn't really a touring car, but more so a cup car. But in my opinion, it still fits the theme of this list rather well, hence why it made it on the 4th spot. The Octavia races in the Octavia Cup and is often referred to as the fastest Skoda Octavia existing. And from all I can say after driving, I must admit that this mod drives absolutely amazing. The handling of this car is so good, I instantly had a smile on my face going into the first corner. But apart from the handling, the most impressive aspect of this mod has to be the sound. Normally sound is a weakness of Assetto Corsa, because there's always only one layer of sound, which is the car engine. This often lets cars sound pretty flat. This mod however finally breaks this trend, because apart from the relatively good engine sound, there are also exterior sounds, like for example gravel hitting the wheel housing. So in my opinion, this car is a must-have, and that's why you should instantly download it. This car seems rather new, but it actually isn't in use anymore because it got replaced by the newer Cupra Leon TCR. Still, the Seat Leon TCR is an amazing example for today's touring cars. It is also quite successful because it has won each modern TCR championship once. The mod itself is by the amazing Sean Clark, who actually released the new Cupra Leon TCR only recently, but I haven't tried this out yet. If you want me to do a comparison between the two, be sure to ask me in the comments down below. Anyways, this mod handles absolutely beautiful, and in my opinion, this is the best mod in AC for simulating front-wheel drive cars. You really need to be careful when putting down the power, because once you do, the car shoots straight forward like a rocket, and all you can do from there is hoping you won't crash. I would also say that this mod, combined with the Skoda Octavia from earlier, is perfect for beginners to learn the basics of racing simulators, and especially AC. So let's now move on to number 2. This car is from a time where saving money wasn't a thing, but instead trying to throw every bit of cash out of the door to gain a little bit of performance over other competitors. It is from a racing series that ultimately lasted 2 years, the International Touring Car Championship, short ITC. But because of high costs, missing fans and the old fans that wanted to have their DTM back, the championship ultimately failed. This also marked the end of the Opel Calibra V6 4x4. It did however return to the 24 hours of Nordschleife in 1999 for the 100th anniversary of Opel. The mod itself really gives you the feeling of sitting in a super high-end car, which is ahead of its time. It drives rather well and it also emulates the slowness in low-speed corners that this car was prone to have. So if you are interested in the most high-end touring car ever built, then definitely check out this mod. This car really has built its reputation not only among racing fans but also in the entire AC community. It is probably one of the best classic car mods and definitely the best touring car mod currently available for Assetto Corsa. Together with its counterpart, another BMW 320i touring race car, it forms one of the most iconic racing series in British motor racing history, the BTCC. This car also enjoyed a fair amount of success because driven by Laurent Aiello, it won the 1999 season of BTCC. The mod itself is really high detailed, it drives really good and is overall a pretty stable car. The main weakness of this car, however, is that it is really easy to unsettle in all kind of situations, like lockups, driving too hard over curbs, and the list goes on. When you learn how to deal with this edgy behavior of the car, however, things start to turn into your favor and you really start to have fun with this mod. So if you want to have a fun, edgy and fast race car, then give this mod a download via the link in the description below. Right guys, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any more to add to this list, be sure to post it in the comments down below. So with all that said, bye! See you in the next one.